Okay. Let's talk unsolved murders. So, I was watching this one YouTube mysteries channel. I started talking about this guy that got killed in, I guess, Arlington, Virginia. And what really stood out for me in this case is that there's video of the offender. And he has some unique characteristics, but such as the pigeon-toed gait. And he also appears to have been pretty smart because he's taped over the logo of his backpack. Now, of course, sleuths found out what kind of backpack he was wearing. It was a North Face. They identified the model, which probably Mr. Offender guy was a little upset about when he found out about that on Reddit. But in the meantime, let's give you a little rundown on this murder. And then we're going to talk about what we're doing today with it. Okay? January 17th, 2000. This is from Reddit, from True Crime Discussion. January 17th, 2020 at 5:29 p.m., police were dispatched to the 800 block of North Randolph Street in Arlington, Virginia, AVA Ballston Apartments, for the report of cardiac arrest. Upon arrival, it was determined the sister of the victim entered his bedroom after becoming concerned he had not recently been heard from. The adult male victim was located inside his bedroom, suffering from trauma to the upper body, and was pronounced dead on scene by medics. An autopsy by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner ruled the death a homicide. Evidence recovered at the scene indicates the suspect attempted to clean the crime scene prior to fleeing the residence. Surveillance video recovered from an exterior camera shows, now everybody pay attention, start writing shit down because this is where it's going to get important, okay? This is where we talk about description of the offender. Shows a person of interest leaving the area around the suspected time of the homicide. The individual is described as a white male, approximately 5'6" to 5'8" tall. So he's kind of a short guy. I'm surprised by that, actually. Weighing 150 to 175 pounds, dressed in all black, carrying a black backpack, and walking with his feet turned inward, often referred to as a pigeon-toed gait. Detectives would like to identify and speak with this individual. Yeah, I'm sure they would. What's known... Look, guys, there's a bunch of... Thing is, when you dig into a homicide victim's life, and you just start digging up all their dirt, as if it's, like, connected to the murder, it might be. But at the same time, you risk publicizing poor Scott Ratigan's dirt, which, I mean, he's dead, but still. And, of course, you know, people involved with him have their dirt dug up by sleuths online, too. So because we have this video, the images of this offender, I set out to embark on a mission. Oops. I've done this before. I've done this with the Billy Brossman murder from Terre Haute, Indiana. I've done this with... I know I've done more than one proportionate composite. But I guess the main proportionate composite that I did was the Billy Brossman shooter. Yeah, I killed Billy Brossman. And here's the way that works. Now, important to remember, guys, composite sketches are never going to be of perfect accuracy. But I think because this is still a fresh crime, this only happened 5 years ago, and they are still looking for information, and they are still trying to figure out who this guy is, then I figured, well, if we can try to generate a proportionate composite of this offender, maybe that can help to aid the investigation. And I'll probably forward this composite to Arlington also, and make of it what you will. So let's show you how it was made, first and foremost. What kind of images can we connect to this? Let's see. Images. Correcto. It's the official position of this record label. Nuclear weapons are a lucrative fair points game. Okay. I believe it's the Ratigan. I saved everything as like Ratigan offender, just so I could find it for exactly this reason. Here we go. Ratigan offender. One. Let's just keep putting Ratigan offenders in there. And I'll demonstrate what exactly the purpose of all this is here. You're going to see. Ratigan offender, angle 40. Whoops. This guy's such a degenerate scumbag. Fuck this guy. Okay. It's true, too. What a dirtbag. Okay, Ratigan offender. SWAT net. Face angle shot. Move that around. Not supposed to really cover the Nuke Hoax logo, but you know what? Scott Ratigan's life is more important than the logo, so. Okay. Or the justice for him, rather, I should say. Okay. And then number 4. Ratigan 4. It's just Ratigan offender. There you go. But that's actually Scott Ratigan on the left, so let's not muddy the waters here. All right. Oh, by the way, we're all muddying waters. Okay. You know what's funny? I can actually put the Nuke Hoax logo on top of all of it, but I'm not going to. All right. So here's how it went down. These are the images of the man who probably killed Scott Ratigan. Okay. What I had to do was begin establishing some proportionate numerical values. So certain things like, let's see if I can show that process. Maybe not. I think because it was all just done with a ruler and transpose. Okay. Things like the height of his face, the distance from his eyes to the crown of his head, the distance of the eyes between each other, the width of those eyes, the distance from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the eyes, the distance from the bottom of the nose to the mouth, the angle at which I believe his face is, I believe that his face slants away from the tips of his high cheekbones to down to the bottom of his chin at about a 40-degree angle. You can see the contours through his mask. So, as you can see, Dirtbag Express here attempted to thwart, and successfully thus far, has attempted to and succeeded to thwart identification by wearing this hood and this mask. Well, the purpose of the proportionate composite is to take blurry images, such as the Billy Brossman shooter, and other distant images of dirtbags, and utilizing the ruler tool that you can see in the middle of your screen there. On the face angle photos, there's a 2 middle photos there with the little lines drawn on it, the little gray line. Utilizing these measurements, we can start to build basically what is a proportionate map of the offender's face. Now, I must clarify that this is not 100% accurate, because you have artifacts like video compression, the angle of the shot, certain things that are going to interfere with our ability to make those accurate measurements. But when we do them from across separate photos and so forth, and we're getting similar things. Now, I could calculate ratios and everything, but what I actually ended up doing, guys, was eventually building a direct proportion, or a direct feature map. So let's go ping image, and we'll do Ratigan offender map. Just everything, just Ratigan, because then it can put it all in one spot. Map. Then, oops, I should probably crop this, huh? Wouldn't that be smart? Crop, and then save again. Then we can start to do things like this that you're going to see as soon as I do enough clicking. Boop. Click 2. Okay. Now you see the little map on the screen? A little face map there. From this map is then generated a composite sketch of the individual. Very important to remember that we also have, let me mute and then I can do this. Okay, we're back. Slightly unprofessional, but human beings were dying of starvation. Okay. So from this map, I'm just going to start turning Ratigan images off. Can be generated a composite sketch. Now, here's what I think. I think that the person in this video probably looks a little younger than he does in this composite, and as you can see, I've done like a relatively crummy little hoodie on him, just to indicate that we really don't know what his hair looks like. We don't know what his ears look like, and we don't know what his hair looks like. There's just too much fabric, and there's too much bullshit in the way to be able to, to determine that. So, this is your guy in all his cartoony glory. And I'm going to open up that map again and put them side by side so you can understand the relation that the map has to the composite. So with the map on the right side of your screen and then the composite on the left, I suspect that this is a decent recreation. Not perfect, not terrible probably, of this offender. Let's get a picture of him with, let's see if we can get one of these better ones here. Here he is. That guy. That's actually a really good placement for the composite too. That guy right there. And there is mathematics involved in this. It's not like, it's not like we're just, oh, look at the picture and then draw the face. There's measurements here that are going into this. And so these measurements allow us to be a little bit more accurate in recreation of the features. And of course, as you go forward, there's just certain things we know about the human face that, you know, where, and you can see, actually, oops, that's not part of murder victim on there. You can actually see where, because we have this profile shot of him, you can see where the contours of the nose are. You see how it kind of flattens out directly, like just a little bit above the center line of the eyes is where the bridge of his nose really flattens out. And then you can see kind of some of the shape of that nose. And I've tried to recreate that. There. So this information is going to get forwarded to Arlington Police. I just don't want to, I mean, maybe I'll just send them this video and then just send them the sketch. And just be like, here you go. Here's the process. Oops. I want to remove it. I just want to mute it. So who killed that guy? We don't know. But this is what Reddit thinks. Most plausible theories so far of people who have known him. This was a hired hitman. I mean, I doubt that a lot. Because I don't think that... Guys, the issue of hitmen is like so movies. It happens, yeah, but generally speaking, guys, people don't get away with murder for 5 years when they pay someone to do it. Generally speaking. See, because we have no clue who this guy is. So nobody's ever come forward. No one's ever said, oh, I paid him, or I know someone who paid him, or I received the money. And then we have to ask, well, where did who hired the hitman and where did they find him? On the dark net? It's so stupid. Maybe. I think it's just as unlikely as when you have one of those murders and then people go, oh, it's a drug-related shooting. It's like, what the fuck? He was like a 16-year-old Eagle Scout. Not Ratigan, David Faraday from Zodiac, but same concept. People are like, oh, it's a drug-related murder. It's like David Faraday was like a kid and like a wrestler. He didn't do that. So that's a retarded theory. Same, I think, with the hitman. And unless they ever catch this guy and he turns out to be, I mean, I'll be surprised. It's not impossible. But, see, drugs, gambling, and money have all been ruled out by Arlington. Well, then why was it a hitman? If money has been ruled... Guys, what the fuck are these people talking about? Oh, money has been ruled out. This was a hired hitman. What? Do you understand the contradiction? I think people often assume that a hired hitman means a professional killer. In reality, it seems like they're often paid criminals hired by a friend. Guys. Come on, dude. You guys are watching too many movies on Reddit. So I'm going to put... Yeah, this guy says, why would this be a hired hit? Isn't that stupid? There's nothing in the public domain that would suggest he'd be a likely target of a hired hit. I just think people think that because the killer seemed to be exceptionally well described. Oh my god. Guys. It's the prevailing internet theory. Just stop theorizing, internet. Why don't you figure out who this guy is and stop trying to figure out who paid him? That would be smarter. You have no clue what the fuck was going on. And they're like, that's the prevailing theory. Do you guys know what a theory is? Let's talk about what theories are. Theory. Definition. Because apparently this has been hard for people on the internet. I want the scientific definition. Okay, here you go. You ready? Listen to this. A hypothesis is a specific, tentative, testable explanation for a narrow set of phenomena, serving as a starting point for an investigation, while a theory is a broad, well-supported explanation of many observations backed by extensive and verified data and considered widely true by scientists. So there's no prevailing theory that this is a hitman. That's retarded. But what there is a composite sketch of him made over here at Nuke Hoax headquarters. I think he looks younger than this. I just had some difficulty conveying that. I think he looks younger in real life. So if you know this person, if you're from Arlington, Virginia, or literally anywhere basically over there, and don't narrow your focus. You know, broaden your range. Look at different states around the area or something maybe. Because he could be just a serial killer. Just not sure who he is. But I think he looks like this, and I think he looks a little younger than this. So, if you know this guy, and he buys a lot of North Face and a lot of Under Armour, let us know. Contact, what's the contact information for this case? Let's find out. I'm going to put the contact information for this case on the screen. And then we're just going to basically wrap it up because what else can you say? All right, here you go. There is actually a reward, and it's offered by the family, which is really a shame. They shouldn't have to do that. I think the police should pay for this shit, but they're not. So the Arlington County Police Department asks that anyone with information related to the case contact its Homicide and Robbery Unit at 703-228-4180 or email ACPDTipline at arlingtonvirginia.us or arlingtonva.us. And you can also provide anonymous tips through the Arlington County Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-8477. I should put all of this shit on the screen right here. I'm just going to put this whole blurb right here on the screen. You're all going to see it that way, because at least then we get all the contact information at the same time. Paste. Boop. And then we have to make it like way smaller because it's fucking gigantic right now. It looks ridiculous. Okay. Come on, OBS. You can do better than that. You know what I mean? Okay. Shrinking things. So let's get this fucking guy. He's a dirtbag. Let's find him. It's been 5 years. That's too long. You know, you don't just get to run around killing people and then bleaching their apartments and then just walk away for 5 years. That's just not cool. I don't agree with that. Here is the information. Okay? You can see it on your screen now. And then, fuck. That's annoying. Well, anyway. I guess as long as you contact that number right there, if you know something about this case, that you should be able to get through. I'm also going to email the Composite to their tip line email. They can make it that what they will. And people probably go, oh, that's funny. You've made your own. But it's like, what's the difference? The offender's on video. I've seen the video, or the pictures from the video. And then based on that, I did some mathematical measurements and composite sketched him. And so it's not, I mean, it's technically even more scientifically valid than most composite sketches. Definitely more than that Presidio Heights composite sketch, that pile of trash. So, okay, I'm going to leave that on the screen. Oh, and then in other news. In other news, today. I don't actually get notified for everything that happens on here. Hey, RP Ackerman, I don't want you to think that but I don't think that he'd even put an I in there, because I don't think, I'm with you, Ackerman, that Alan's probably Zodiac, but I don't think that the glyph says Lee. I think it says to kill. Because is that I mean, maybe that's a lowercase g. It's hard to say, but it could also be an I. So that's the Tom Voigt. The Tom Voigt solution for the glyph is to kill, and then of course Tom Voigt commented, and then right after him commented RPA, and RPA says that the glyph says Lee, L-E-I-G-H. If I had a gun to my head about it, guys, I'd say it probably says to kill, but it could say Lee. All right. Now, here's the weird comment that I wanted to talk about with you guys, because I think this is maybe a crazy person. He says, time to do a reset. This is on the video of me and Ned. Time to do a reset for both of you. Perception is everything on this case. Use your own eyes and thoughts. Otherwise, everything goes into confusion and denial. Simplify everything on the reset. Start with what he calls himself and the zodiac symbol. You can solve this case with just the letters. No forensics, experts, or testimonials. Those are distractions. Within 15 minutes of challenge questions, you both would be on the path instead of the maze. Okay. First of all, I don't think forensics is a distraction. I think experts can be a distraction, so he's probably, that's valid. And testimonials can totally be a distraction. Forensics, when correctly interpreted, is not a distraction. It's pretty much the main thing that we want to look at. So, what do you mean start with what he calls himself? Is this supposed to mean that's the watch? Because the problem with using your thoughts the way that this guy's talking about is that there's no way to verify it. So it's not like a fingerprint or DNA where it's like proof. And it's just like nothing you can do about it. It's just proof. Start with what he calls himself. How is this going to lead me to a verifiable solution? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And maybe he knows something we don't know. Can he verify it? That's the real issue. It's like solving the Z13. It's like maybe you solved it. No way to know. It's too short. So anyway, this is probably the guy that shot or that killed Scott Ratigan. He didn't shoot him. So find him. Find that guy in Virginia. Okay? Bye.